Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Ida. And hello to all of our listeners today. Welcome to Bitch Be Grateful.
Welcome back. Today we have a very special episode planned for you because we are going to talk about Galentines. And in the spirit of Galentine, we have invited our third musketeer, and other friend we have not yet met, Kim. Yay!
Yes, big round of
Hi,
applause. She's
everyone.
amazing.
We're so excited because Kim is our very first guest on this podcast.
I'm honored.
This is a monumental moment. Not only is she our first guest, but she is our third pillar and just such an incredible friend to me and Ida. And like Ida said, another friend we haven't met in person, but has had such a huge impact on our life.
Yes.
She was a part of our EFT certification group. Then it just evolved into a friendship between all three of us. And we're so excited to share her with you. So without further ado, Kim, give us a little introduction about you.
Hi, guys, and thank you for having me here with you guys. I'm super excited about this. Well, I am from Puerto Rico. I moved to the mainland a couple of years ago. We call the mainland the US, but I've just been here a couple of years. I went to chiropractic school. I'm a photographer, and I just do all these multi-passionate things. And I decided, you know what? I needed one more thing, and I did an EFT certification, and that's how I met you guys. And best decision ever.
Yes. Kim is our multi-passionate queen.
And me and Ida shared our story where we did the morning magic goal practice together. And then we signed up for this emotional freedom technique course, which was the EFT. And unbeknownst to us, we actually ended up meeting our third best friend, Kim. And it was so funny because we were in this course together. And I remember seeing Kim talk one day and I was like, wow, like she's so knowledgeable. She knows so much. And I was like, dang, she's a doctor? What? And in the course, something that they had us do was breakout rooms. So you would have group sessions and then you would do breakout rooms. And Ida had a breakout room to practice with Kim. And I remember maybe a week after that, I messaged her about some problems I was having and blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, I just met Kim and she might be able to help you out with that. She's a really cool person, blah, blah, blah. She's also from Puerto Rico. And I was like, oh, because I wanted to also practice my Spanish. That was another side note with my friends. I make two friends that speak Spanish. But then I ended up being in a breakout room with Kim and we did a tapping session together. Kim did one for me, which was so powerful. And by the end of the session, I feel like we just clicked. And it was just so fun to have a moment where Ida clicked with her, I clicked with her separately. And then throughout the course, we just became the three musketeers, really. We became this like little formidable group, like always together, talking about the course, encouraging each other. That when graduation time came around, we were kind of looking at one another like, we don't want to stop this. This was awesome. Like, we had such a good time. I felt so uplifted through the whole thing. We're like, well, let's start a group chat that, based on manifestation, based on lifting each other up, because we had some pretty big goals at the time. We wanted to have almost like an accountability group. But I think it went so much farther than that and so much deeper.
Yeah. I feel like
It did.
calling it the accountability group for what it is now is underselling it, like with the, I don't even know how much, but with a
Yeah, it's
ton.
totally like
Underselling.
it as sort of an accountability group because we wanted to tackle these big goals in life. But it went so much deeper. I feel like we just instantly, we started sharing more and more about one another, what was going in our lives, the things that we were struggling with, the patterns, the limiting beliefs. And we all had this shared desire to grow and connect at the same time.
I also just for me, what I loved was that because this was new to all of us, but we were moving into the same field and kind of moving into building our lives in a similar way, let's say, even if we have completely like different goals, but it was still something new for all of us. So it felt so comforting knowing like, okay, I have Nicole and Kim who can support me. They know what I talk about. They know like what's going on and you understand. And yeah, for me, that was like so comforting throughout the whole year and a half that it has been and all of the years to come.
No, it just made sense. I was coming from a place where I didn't have any friends locally once I moved here, and I was trying to find friends online because I was like, well, there's got to be people that understand. And then just meeting you two with, like you said, we didn't have the same goals, but we had the same mechanism, the same techniques, the things that we wanted to do. And we all have something that we all kind of want to accomplish together. Let's uplift and we keep learning. And it was just such a beautiful community. Like there's things that I can talk to you guys that I don't talk with anybody else. And I think 2025 just taught me how much acceptance and how much freedom there is in talking to people without knowing that you're not going to get judged,
Yes.
Oh,
because
yes.
we all know what we all went through in
Oh my
2025.
God.
Everything.
Yes. It
And it
was
was
a
just
tough
like
year,
everything. It was tough, but it was still very, very beautiful
but
manifesting because we
amazing.
realized how much we can do,
Yeah.
Mhm.
from medical issues, from losing friends. It was just it was just insane, I think, and we all literally glued to each other, like, it didn't
Mhm.
matter how far we're from each other, but we were still, like, connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we held on real tight.
I was joking with them earlier because I said my manifesting for 2025 was like, I wanted like a new car, I wanted money, like I wanted all this cool stuff. And I got friends instead. And I'm so happy about it. Like it was the best manifestation of my life was these female friendships because it brought so much fun, so much beauty. And then through that, I got the other things that I wanted, but they were almost like a side effect of having a genuine like relationship with the two of you and like the friendship. And it's so cool to me. And I think, yeah, Kim, like you said, 2025 was a huge year for us and having people that you can go through the ups and downs with without judgment. Because like Kim said, I mean, I don't know. I think judgment and is a huge part of like girl world. And it doesn't need to be, you know? And we made sure that we made a space that was very like open and vulnerable and safe. And that was, I don't know about our listeners, but for me, a very weird thing to have with a group of females because typically like female spaces to me didn't feel safe before this.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think
It's definitely hard.
yeah, and I think so like a big part of that I think that we talk about is like, I don't know, for me in my past, like if I had a female friendship, it was like a drama relationship or there was a lot of judgment, like Kim said, or jealousy. And I always told myself, well, you know what? I'm just better off being friends with guys. I'm better off doing this or being by myself, like one or the other. I just didn't want to even deal with that anymore. And I think like as a whole, like girl world, being friends with females, like we're kind of conditioned that we expect competition if we are in a friend group, or you expect jealousy or judgment when you are making female friends. And I don't know, I feel like we're a case study where like that doesn't have to be the case at all. Like you don't have to have any of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We're the proof. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
we're the
like
proof.
that. No, but I completely
And the
agree.
world needs to know.
100%. Yeah, because it's in the end, it's just a condition that all of us women have, or all, everyone, but many women have. And if it's society, if it's from upbringing, like there's many different factors that one can blame, but that we are kind of out for each other. Like we kind of want to, find some flaws. We want to find something that we can drag other women down with, and it's just so many toxic, like female, if it's friendships, but also just energies and out there. And it's really tiring and also really, really sad because we can really uplift each other, we can be there for each other, and instead we're like looking for a way to drag each other down or to make us look bad. Or and it's really sad. It makes me really sad to think about, honestly.
And unfortunately, a lot of them find out much later in life who are the real core, because a lot of these issues, and it's sad to say, do come from, especially like if we're women and we're into men, it comes from that, like the jealousy, like, oh well, she's prettier, she's gonna get my man, she's gonna steal my man, and it's that concept. But when you look at like studies, and you'll see it, nurses in hospice will talk about this too, that when a woman is literally on her last breath on her bed, Who's the one making sure she's looking pretty? Who's the one making sure that her room is good and clean? It's usually her daughters, her sisters, and or her female friends. Because a lot of
Oh,
them, they're like, they will tell you the husbands are nowhere to be found, the boyfriends are nowhere to be found, the sons, they don't know what to do. It is, we need this structure, we need this community because we actually take care of ourselves. And you see it in the proof. It's right there. You can ask any nurse. It's like very, very small percentage where you see that the husband is still around and making sure that she's well taken care of. I don't hear that many stories. I always hear women are taking care of each other. Actually, there was a weird, I know this is the nerdy part, but there was a weird study with mice that they were kind of like making the mice sick. And they realized that when they injected like the male mice with this, that they wouldn't like take care of each other, but they tried it with the female mices and they kind of like created a community to take care of each other because they were sick. So they couldn't continue the study because they couldn't control the female mice
oh
because
my
they were
goodness.
actively trying to take care of each other.
Wow.
Like it's freaking, I don't know the whole study, the whole thing, but I read that lightly and I was like, again, we are so powerful when we're not exposed to that judgment. We're not, being catty at each other. Like we're so much powerful together.
Oh, I love that, Kim. That's so true. And I think women, we are so good at building community. And not just community, when we're operating from a place of light, we make the most uplifting communities. And
Yes.
we're so supporting and we're so loving and we're so kind. And I think it's just these little like shadows that we have that we let take over sometimes, or, we let ourselves lash out or judge the other woman or be jealous when in reality, I don't know about you guys, but for me, something that I learned through this dynamic is that like if someone makes you uncomfortable, like if someone makes you feel kind of small and it's another female, like instead of being jealous, or if you do feel jealousy, that's okay. Like it's totally okay. It's natural. But that's just something telling you that she has what you want. She has something that can help you grow. And if you lean into that jealousy, if you lean into the judgment that you have for her, you realize that it's really just a big reflection of what you want in your own life and the places that your soul is pulling you and telling you, no, like your ego feels jealous, but I'm telling you, like she's going to bring you to the next level. And, in the Bible, they always say iron sharpens iron. And I really feel like that's what you guys have done for me. And the people that I put on a pedestal that I've always thought are like, quote unquote, scary or intimidating, you guys have ingrained in me, like, I have to make it a point to be friends with them. I have to be a point to be like, no, I'm scared of you. I'm jealous of you. I'm going to get to know you. Like, that's what. And I think that's how we transform these shadows of judgment and jealousy and comparison. Because I really do believe, like, when you truly value yourself and you truly value the women in your community, you just naturally become collaborative. Like, and you naturally take care of each other, like Kim said. And two, if you have these shadow tendencies with females in your relationships and things, like, don't judge yourself for it. Just know that it's telling you to act on it, to do something about it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very important point. That don't judge yourself, rather think like, okay, how can I react to this and how can I, act on these feelings?
I think it's so important because when you do follow those and you transmute those shadows, like it will naturally bring you into a place of growth. And I think especially with like female communities and female friendships, like if you're not really growing in them, like, and that's any relationship, if you're not really growing in a way that you're happy with, like it's not that it's bad, but is that most beneficial,
There's so many stories where women will say like about their best friend, no? Like, yeah, before I actually knew her, I really thought she was a bitch. And now she's like the best friend in the whole entire world.
Oh, yeah, that's actually so true.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Like there's
And
so many stories that
yeah,
is like that.
and it's funny because I think most of I'm thinking like the Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan and even like the Lizzie McGuire movie where you have like the mean girl and the geeky girl, and eventually they come to terms because they're like, oh, this is just two roles that we're playing. We have nothing Like, there's actually nothing we hate about each other. We are just acting out like this role, in a sense. And I feel, especially with female relationships, we're kind of taught to label ourselves like either you're the cool girl, you're the funny girl, you're the smart girl, you're the intelligent one. And it runs in our group dynamics. And I think that sometimes they'll pit us against one another too, because like either you're the hot one or you're not. You're the cool girl or you're not. And she can't talk to you because you're not cool, and you can't talk to her because she's not cool. And it's like we have this barrier between us for no reason, like absolutely no reason.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
true.
it's funny. Like you just said, who you judge is probably going to be your best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
And I
I can
still
relate to that. Where like I feel like with women, and maybe even still that with women, I'm always like a bit more hesitant to like bring out my weird side. Like with if I meet men, I just from day one I can be my weird self. I don't care. But with women, I always like I just wait a little bit longer until I let her out. While with men, I don't necessarily think about that, and I think that has to do with in the movies, like you never wanted to be the weird girl. So there is like this kind of a fear of turning out like, oh, like if you don't see a weird girl in the room, like it's probably you, you know?
It's true. It's always
never
you.
thought about that one, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's always me. Yeah, yeah.
It's okay. It's always me too. My
Me
circle.
and Kim say this all the time. She's the weirdest one in the group. No, I'm kidding. But
But I think so.
No, but it's true. Society has pretty much. I still think society has conditioned us that way, like you said. In the use of movies, and we emulate what we see in the movies because that's kind of like our second nature, our second teachings too. It's what we learn at home, it's what we learn in the movies, it's what we learn in the cartoons, it's what we learn in all these shows, and they're so drama filled, and it doesn't have to be that way. And unfortunately, it does. I do have a lot of female friends, and I did have a lot of female friends in elementary and middle and high school that I was really tight with. And with some of them, I'm still very close with, which I'm really, really happy about. But we don't have the same relationship that I would say that I have with you guys. And it's because, you keep growing apart. And that's natural. That's normal. Like some of them I can still call them, and it's like time did not pass. And there are others that I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah,
And
like
that's
this was
okay
the last
too.
one. Yeah.
This was the last call, yeah. And sometimes it's not the last call because when you've had friends for over 30 years, they don't stop being your friends. But you still feel like they're stuck. And it's something like what you were talking about, Nicole, earlier, like that growing together. Sometimes you just grow apart too. And that's okay, whether it's a female or a male relationship. Something that I found very interesting is that even though like all three of us live in completely different areas of the world, we still find such amazing connection. And for me, my friends from Puerto Rico that we all moved stateside, some of them in the same state that I'm in, and some of them in different states, we just lost our way. We completely lost our way.
Yeah.
There's no alignment, there's no
And that's
connection.
totally normal.
And that's absolutely normal. It's sad, but sometimes you have to accept so that you can grow because you want to grow. You have to grow. If there's no growing, then you're going to get stuck, and then you're going to be 80 years old and wonder why you didn't do anything in your life because you didn't follow that girl that you were jealous of that was going to level up your life. See how that circles right back around?
Yeah, that's exactly why.
You stayed with your circle.
No, but
I'm not
it's
saying
true, Kim.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you can't grow with your circle, but I am saying that so far I probably only have like one friend that it's been like 10, 12 years and we're still growing and it's constant. And that's great, if you have that. Others we just check in 3 times a year, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, and hey, I had a kid.
By the
But
way.
And it's okay to have those relationships too. Yeah,
those
but
are
me and Ida
some.
were talking about this too, where proximity doesn't always mean closeness. Like proximity, geography, like it doesn't always mean that you're gonna, like you have to be close to these people forever. Because we were talking about like usually it starts with your friends and family and you have to prioritize them as your good friends. And then like childhood friends, and then like coworkers, or just like your neighbor, whatever. The people who are close to you physically, we think means that like we have to prioritize them as our close relationships. And I think if they're healthy and they're great, like, yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't always mean intimacy, or it doesn't always mean you're going to feel understood. Like, and I think that's what this relationship has taught me in a sense, is that I can feel understood and seen, ironically, by people who have never actually seen me in person, more than anyone else. And it's so like, yeah, I have to say I'm probably closer with you guys than I am any of my friends that I live near. And some people might think it's weird, but I think it's just so cool because we're so aligned. And like Kim said, very different backgrounds. I think we'll have to get into that in another episode, because we do all have very different stories, and we're all on sync, like totally on sync. It's just
It is.
incredible
And I
to
just
me.
find it so beautiful that you can build such a like safe, secure, beautiful friendship with people who live far away, and obviously also, yeah, that we've never even met in person. Like that's even crazier. But just in terms of the distance, I think it's so beautiful, because I also feel like very often maybe people meet people who live far away and they immediately think like, no, but how am I going to maintain a friendship when we cannot meet, when we don't live close to each other? And it's kind of like as if it's a long distance, like romantic relationship. And that's maybe more challenging, let's say, than a long distance friendship, because you don't need necessarily the same things. But I feel like people very often in their head, maybe subconsciously, like make that connection at like, oh no, that's hard. Like that needs a lot of maintenance and it's really just not for me. But then like here we are with, yeah, like you guys have been saying, like such like safe, beautiful space that we've made online. Like it's beautiful.
And it's so easy. Nowadays, there is no excuse. We have FaceTime, we have text. We can text message anybody at any time without extra cost. Guys,
Revolutionary. What a
Goodness.
time to be
Yes.
alive, guys.
Revolution.
Literally.
Yes.
And like you said, it was easy. This relationship felt easy. I was scared. I was intimidated. And I think the hardest part was, Nicole, you're not going to perform. You're not going to, because for me, that's how I felt in my other female relationships. I felt like I said, you had to perform a role. And for me, I was like the smart one. I was like the nerdy one. And I had to for a long time. I blossomed later on in life. But I was like, no, you're not going to perform. You're going to show up exactly as you are. You're going to, we mentioned this in the morning magical practice with Ida, like no filter. I'm just going to tell them exactly how I'm feeling. If I send them a message and I'm crying, I'm going to send it. If I'm angry, I'm going to send it. Like, and that was so cool. And the only thing that took effort was the courage to send that message. And then just the time difference, like prioritizing, like, you know what, I'm going to take my time today to listen and talk to them. And then it just became so natural. Like it really did. And that's why I think, like, if you feel dissatisfied with your current female relationships, like, don't blame the girls. Don't blame anyone. Don't say they're a bad person or call them like a bitch in a bad way, because bitch is only a good word here. Like, you don't have to do that. You can just be like, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm receiving this. So one, either see if you can adapt the friendship and have a conversation with them, or if you feel like I might be better just pulling from a different pool in general, like going somewhere else, then take the leap. Join an online community, message someone on Instagram that you've been admiring or you like their posts and stuff. And if they don't message back immediately or the first time doesn't work out, I also want you guys to know that it's okay. Like, don't take it as rejection, because I tried to create this group several times with different people and it just didn't happen until it happened. So don't take it as a sign of discouragement. But yeah, join a like-minded community. Like we say, we met in the EFT community, and it's a place where there's positive women. They want to grow. They're all interested in similar topics, things like that. So then find those things. So if you're introverted and you want to be extroverted, find a group online that's like focus on confidence building and make friends with those women. Like the thing that you feel like you lack, go into that community and find a friend
Yeah.
there, because it's going to rock your world.
Obviously, like, choose a safe community where people have good intentions, etc. We're not just saying to jump on whatever community online and hope you find your new best friend there. Like, make sure that you guys also want the same
Good
thing.
luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that you're like moving in the same direction, or having, if it's the same issue, or wanting to learn the same thing, or whatever, that we already have something in common. And I think that was also a huge thing, that we didn't have to look for something that we had in common. We already knew, and then it's just been adding on even more things that we didn't know at that point. But we already had this one like base thing that we could talk about and build everything from there. And I kind of also want to mention just that, even if for us it was easy to kind of build this, let's say, safe foundation where we felt like we could say everything, it was also because we did receive it, like, always being kind, always also like encouraging each other to share. Like, if Nicole would delete a message, I would be like, no, next time don't delete it, like, I want to hear, and we
I would
encourage each other to be
confess.
raw. Yeah, to be raw and honest. And so even though it was easy, like, there's still this foundation that needs to be built, and sometimes that can be harder or take longer. And we were lucky, or it's just that all three of us are so amazing that it was so easy.
I do want to
We
build on
are.
that, actually, because with Ida, yes, I agree 1000%. And I want to encourage you guys too, if either you can do this with your current relationships or the ones that you're going to build. Something that we and Ida did, but we didn't know that we were doing, we're setting like almost like friendship guidelines when we did that. So maybe if that's something that you're like, okay, well, I feel like my relationships are a little bit negative, or I feel like they don't feel safe, or they do feel judgy, maybe what you can do is set some guidelines with your friends and establish like, okay, well, can we make a promise to each other that we won't judge anything that we say to each other anymore? Or can we just promise that we're going to be vulnerable with each other moving forward if you feel like you haven't been able to create that intimacy? And when you meet your new friends, like, feel free to make those guidelines. Like, hey, let's make some like group chat rules and just be like, make sure it's a good space, like, vulnerability, but like, don't sit on the negative stuff if we don't want to, because you don't have like a 10-page bitch fest. Although sometimes we
Sometimes you
do,
need to
like, we
rant.
complain. I don't want you guys to think that we're perfect, but we always try to leave from a neutral or positive space once it's all out, And so yeah, I think that that's such a good idea. And we did it unknowingly, but you can do that with intention. And I think that helps. And I do want to add as well, me, Ida, and Kim were all coming from a place of having done some personal healing before we got into these relationships. And it wasn't a whole lot. Like, I'm not saying we were like sitting on a mountaintop gurus, but we were um but we were in a place of intentional healing. So that also helps. So if you feel like you have some work that you need to do in yourself, like, please do that and go outward afterwards if you need to. But yeah, I think the mindset that you set up and the foundation is so important. And I think that's where we have the issues with our girlfriends, is like, we don't have the right foundation. So be intentional about it. Be intentional.
I'm gonna take that advice to like set, some guidelines, etc. Because when you talked, I realized, like, man, there's many times maybe that, rather than telling my female friends, like, actually, I don't appreciate when you react that way, I just take distance. I'm just kind of like, okay, then I'm not gonna come to you with these things anymore, for example, because I'm like, you're not giving me not the response I want. Like, you're completely like allowed to challenge my thought, or to be a bit like, Ida, come on, like, I'm not saying that, but where it's just, if you feel that judgment, like criticism, I would immediately, yeah, just take a step back and be like, okay, well, maybe our time is over, rather than
Maybe we can't be
actually,
friends
yeah,
anymore.
rather than actually then saying like, when you answer that way, it makes me feel very judged, and I don't appreciate that. And if that's how you want to react, like, cool, but then this is not for me, or
Yeah, having grace.
yeah.
I just want to say, and maybe this is the most important thing about a friendship.
When you're done healing, when you understand people a little bit better, you create the boundaries that you need to make sure that they're not taking advantage of you, that you feel safe, but also to understand them. And then when all of you are on the same healing path, sorry, my English and my Spanish were going in there. Um, when you're all on the same path, you know that understanding them is not a bad thing, because sometimes we'll be like, oh, we'll make excuses for people. Um, some people, it's like, yeah, you don't want to make excuses for, because it comes to be you're actually covering a toxic relationship, whether it's, your partner or a friend. That can happen. But then you have situations where you're like, no, that person is generally like that, or they're generally going through it. And eventually you find out. And I think all of us have had that moment. And when you're healed and know the boundaries, you'll start differentiating who are the people that are going to actually be there for you and actually mean well, and who are the people that they just don't want to be a part of your life. And I know it hurts, but it's part of the process of finding friends, of finding your people, finding your community. And I haven't had the luck of finding that group of people locally, but I did online. So it's like, yes, always exercise safety. I mean, like I said earlier, I grew up in a time where you had to be careful online because there's a lot of bad people, but there's also a lot of
Oh,
bad
yeah.
people in person. So vet them, get to know them. Yeah. Like before, I think even before like we started sharing email addresses, I was like, should I? I'm like, it's okay, it's safe. And I had to constantly remind myself that. I'm like, okay, it's safe. And then when we started talking about astrology and our birth dates, and I'm like, it's okay, Kim. It's okay. Because you become so private in all your things because there's so many bad people out there. But you start building that foundation, you realize where you met and what your intentions are, and you start feeling things. Like people really underestimate our intuition. And that's something that we also
I
need to
think
grow
number one,
on.
yeah, when you're creating your group of friends, I think so too. Always listen to your intuition, like 1000%, because that does going to lead you to the right place. And I think what Kim said, 1000%, is like eh, you get to this place of just being so, one, accepting of yourself, and two, accepting of the other people in the friendship that, like Kim said, we are not here to cover each other up, like our flaws or anything like that. But also, we're not here to point them out in a rude way or tell them, like, hey, you're being like this, like, cut it out. Like, I don't like it, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we always approach each other with a sense of curiosity. If something's like, oh, I'm concerned about this or that, approach it with a sense of curiosity, grace, and kindness. And that's why everything works out. Because we're not making an instant judgment, oh, she's just being like this. Like, no, not at all. We're just like, okay, what's going on? Like how, and if we do have, and like she said, we have very different lives. So if we lose connection for a moment, we just come back to it. And we just remind ourselves, because we really are mirrors for one another. And I think that's the biggest thing in all of this, and why we need a female friendship and community, is because we're all mirrors for one another, and we all help each other grow that way. And it's so important, because if you don't have someone like that to reflect back to you the growth that you need, the support, the love, life can be so lonely, and it's just not worth it. Don't go down that road. It can be so juicy if you let it. It really can. So yeah, I think this has been the most amazing thing. And on a fun note, guys, we did want to share some really good, fun Galentine's ideas with you guys, just so that we can, so you guys can, I don't know, build that relationship. So either and be like, ask that girl out if you want to on a Galentine's date, or
Yeah, exactly.
share some
Ask them
appreciation.
out.
Yes, I'm telling you, ask that girl out. And share some appreciation for your friends. Have a good time. Deepen those relationships. I think we have a fun list of stuff. We were
I
brainstorming
think
before
so
this.
too. Very
Yeah.
variated as well, like a big variation. If you can't find anything you like in this list, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Ida, would you like to start us off on our Galentine's Day list?
Yes. First and foremost, I really want to say normalize buying flowers for friends. Can we just normalize that right now? Because it's such a small and nice gesture. So that's literally my first thing for Galentine's. Buy your friends flowers. My next advice is to do a little fun class or maybe a course together. It could be a cocktail course, maybe even like to make pizza. I don't know. It can be a dance class,
Yes.
or to take some inspiration from Nicole, do a pole dancing class together. Nothing more feminine energy than being in a pole dancing class full of women.
True that.
And yeah, Kim, do you have some other ideas?
Well, because I spend so much time away from everybody, I did a lot of online things. So, for example, I definitely do like you could have a meal together, either a lunch, a brunch, and then just plan it in advance. That way you can have the foods, you can have the drinks, you can have the fancy wear. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Target tends to have like a lot of nice little things for Valentine's, like heart bowls and heart stuff. Yes,
Keep
yes,
me out of
Target.
Target. Keep me out of Target on Valentine's.
I'm
So they
saving
have like
so much
really
money for
nice
being
stuff.
in Europe and we don't have Target.
Oh,
Yeah, we
true.
have
I
Marshalls and
would be
all
broke
this.
if we had Target.
That's why
It's our
America's
problem
broke.
now.
Target. Just kidding.
But you could set it up and you can cook it together while you're on camera. You can get ready while you're on camera together. Just, FaceTime, Zoom, any platform that you like. And just sit and have a meal together. And you can do it any way you want. It could be fancy just on your table, no decor. It could be candlelit dinner with your friends. Like, absolutely, you can have dates with your friends. It doesn't have to be all romantic or platonic. It could just be, hey, I want to celebrate this with you. And then, of course, add a bunch of people too in the camera. That should probably be even funnier.
Oh, that'd be so fun. And I think, and Kim, you mentioned too before we were talking, like the paint and sips, or I forgot. What is it? Painting with a twist idea?
Oh,
Because I
that
thought
was
that was fun
Ina.
too.
Yes. To do that at home, like you could do it at an establishment that does the sip, like the twist and sip thing. Like you have your wine and then you paint together, but you can like do that at home too. You set up the paint, and that way it makes it more intimate. That's what Ina was saying. Because sometimes when you're at these locations, you have all these different groups of people. You're all talking over each other, and sometimes you want to talk about more private things. You want to open up and be vulnerable, and that's a great space to be vulnerable. Than in your own home. Yes, you have to clean afterwards, but you guys can all clean together afterwards.
Exactly. Group
A cleanup
effort
party.
brings you closer.
Exactly. There you go. There's
I
nothing other
love
than,
that.
a magic eraser to bring you guys together.
I love that. And Kim too, I think that's something that you can do on Zoom. Like Kim was saying with dinners, you can paint on Zoom. You guys can do like get ready activities on Zoom, or you can do all of them in person. Like I think it doesn't matter. Like if you're far away, it doesn't matter. I love that. Do you have any other ideas, Kim?
You can do so many things. I mean, picking off from what Ela was saying with the flowers, I mean, balloons. Like events that you used to do
I
back
love
home.
balloons.
Yes. So I worked at different universities and in schools too. And what we would do is we would send pouches like full of candy to our friends on
Mm.
campus or
Oh.
bring balloons. Like one of my best friends back home, she would show up every year in high school with like her set of balloons for all her friends. And I was like, so I'd be walking around campus with a balloon
Oh.
and she would write a message with a nice big Sharpie. And I was like, oh my God, I have to carry this. So I was pretty shy and I didn't want to be any center of attention, but here I am with a giant balloon all over campus. So that's definitely one. Love letters are a thing. If you have and this works too for like fundraising. If you work somewhere that they need to do some fundraising, like you could have like a little we used to do like little I guess newspaper type of thing, and then people would buy like a quarter of a page or half a page or a full page, and they would put a message for their friends, and that was kind of sending a little love note to them, and everybody gets to read it, so you gotta be careful what you put on there. But let's not lose the art of writing something beautiful to someone. We were talking about
Oh,
that
I
earlier
love
too.
that.
You know, having love
Yes,
letters
I'm
for your
addicted.
friends.
Yeah, no, I'm addicted to love letters and Valentine's Day cards. Is what Kim was hinting at. And from Target, honestly, from Target. This is where I spend most of my money on Valentine's is Target in the card section because
But it's
I'm
so
obsessed.
nice.
Yes, it is nice. And so what I like to do is like I'll buy a stack of Valentine's Day cards and I'll just pick my favorite ones, and I'll write. And I think this is such a good thing to do for your girlfriends, is like write on the card, not just like Happy Valentine's Day or you're so pretty, love you, you're my friend. No, but write like the things you never tell her out loud. And I think you can do that in a letter. Ida also suggested doing a jar too that you fill with notes, and they can pull one out, but put things that you appreciate about them, that you love about them, that inspires you about them, that you maybe think you say, but you don't say as often as you think. Or maybe you do, and they just love to hear it. So why not write it down on a piece of paper? Because it's so
Exactly.
impactful.
You can
Yeah,
never
and
hear
they
it
get
too
to
many
keep it forever.
times.
Says the Leo, but it's true.
Yes.
Actually,
Tell me more.
She's like,
more. What
I
more
need
do you
it.
like?
You're shining
I
through.
love that. No, it's so true. It's so true. So that's a really great way to show their appreciation. And I would say, like, get them the cute card. I always decorate the outside of my cards. So this is what I suggest. They will be so excited. Get the card, write the appreciation, and then put stickers, either decorated with stickers, like it's a Mean Girl stickers from the movie or whatever you guys like, and put them in the card, decorate the card with it, because we all love stickers, guys, and it's so fun to just play around with them. And my friends loved it when I did it for Valentine's Day. Okay. One thing too that you guys can do, especially if you tend to be like a picture taking group, because we all love to take pictures. But you're one of those groups, you're always taking selfies. Like, why don't you make a yearbook for your friend or something? You can do it on Canva. You can print it out and just do a little timeline of your friendship. Even if you met them, like, I don't know, 6 months ago. Like, have fun with it. And you can make little notes and stuff like that. And they have their own friendship yearbook, which I think would be so fun.
That's
I want to do
cute.
this. It's going to be a lot of Zoom selfies for us, but it would be really fun.
Yeah, just conversations like these ones.
Yeah.
Screenshots.
Yeah.
I think I still have our first one.
Oh my goodness, really? We should post that on
I
Instagram.
think I still do.
And then our last suggestion, because we love mugs. I mean, just buy them a pink mug from Target or buy them a cute mug that shows their personality.
Yes.
Nothing will be more satisfying to them. I promise you.
But they need to add the chocolate.
And then fill it with chocolate. Yes. Oh, see, we're so aligned. We're so aligned.
See?
We're like, if you're going to give me a mug, that thing better have chocolate in it.
Fill it up with chocolate.
Yeah.
It must have it.
Oh, I love that. So these are just some fun ideas we wanted to share with you guys. But please, if you are doing something with your girlfriends, you're having a Galentine's, you're getting them some gifts, tag us, share what you're doing. If you post a picture, hashtag us at Be Grateful Bitch. We'd love to see it. And remember to just appreciate those women in your life that really push you to grow, because it's just so freaking important. And that's the whole point of this.
So we really hope that you have enjoyed today's episode and that we have been making it a little bit easier, given some inspiration to go out and find those beautiful female relationships or deepen the ones you already have, and that you can now take your best friend out on a date with some of the ideas that we did bring to you. And please make sure that you follow us on Instagram on bitch.begrateful. And like Nicole was mentioning, if you do something fun with your friends, make sure you tag us, or you can use the hashtag BeGratefulBitch. We would love to see what you're up to. And then, as always, if you do enjoy our episodes, please make sure that you follow, that you like, that you share it with your friends, all the good stuff. We would really appreciate that.
Yes, we would. And if you enjoyed our conversation with Kim today, she's phenomenal. Like we said, she does a million things. She's awesome at everything. And she has a fun stuff planned this year. So Kim, if they would like to follow you and learn more about you, where can they do that?
So you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at dr.kimortiz. And that's where I share other things and other projects that I'm working on.
We highly recommend to go follow.
Perfect. Yeah, 1000%. Follow her. Do it now. So thank you guys so much for being here. We had an amazing time. We know Kim had an amazing time, of course.
Yes.
And until next time, ladies.
Be grateful, bitches.
Exactly. Be grateful, bitches. Oh, but we had such a good time. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.